The war in Ukraine began with a promise. A promise from Russia that the special operation would end in weeks. Weeks turned into months, months turned into a year, and now 14 months since the day the conflict started. Ukraine is preparing a spring counter-offensive because the war is still on, even though Western F-16 jets have still not been deployed in Ukraine's favor. President Zelensky has confirmed that Kiev is prepared to launch its counter-offensive with or without the aid of a Western fighter squadron. Stocked with only old Soviet hardware, Ukraine's Air Force is fast depleting both jets and pilots in the war. Earlier this month, Zelensky had appealed to NATO for the delivery of Western fighter aircraft. But it seems the nation is ready for a counter-offensive without its promised planes.
Поставити її. Так, не все просто і не все відбудеться саме завтра. І треба час, щоб навчатись, але у нас є розуміння, як це зробити швидше. У нас є розуміння щодо логістики. І найголовніше, у нас є сьогодні держави, які мають на балансі F-16 або мають інші Western kind aircrafts, і які хочуть, і які готові нам допомогти.
Even as Bakhmut remains under near complete control of Russian artillery, Ukraine is saying its forces are still holding on to the key supply route into the city. This was further confirmed by a spokesperson for Russia's Wagner Group. Wagner troops have gained some ground in the industrial city, however, at a very high cost. Yevgeny Prigozhin, founder of the Wagner Group, reported a loss of over 90 troops to secure a meager 150-meter advance. In the face of mounting debts and depleting supplies, Wagner is now threatening Moscow with a troop withdrawal if much-needed ammunition is not sent its way. Wagner is not alone in its woes, as Ukrainian troops on the front lines of Bakhmut are also facing a supply crunch. The Russian side has claimed that Kiev's reach has been reduced to 3 square kilometers of the city.
Більше важкої зброї, артилерія. А так, у нас бригада досить добре забезпечення, такі ж самі батальйони. Багато техніки, побільше нової, крутої, щоб працювати. І щоб був також розрахунок бойовий, який вміло працювати з цією технікою, так само і пушками, і так далі.
Ukrainian forces in Crimea are already beginning to inflict quite a lot of damage. A Ukrainian drone strike set ablaze a Russian fuel storage facility in the port city of Sevastopol in its latest attack on the Russia-occupied peninsula. What Ukraine lacks in terms of long-range missiles, it is making up by deploying drones. Military intelligence from the Ukrainian side has confirmed the destruction of over 40,000 tons of oil products intended for Russia's Black Sea fleet.
Бочки, цистерны, которые можно было спасти, они все сейчас отрезаны от огня, охлаждаются силами, пожарных расчетов. И это, приносит свой успех. Те 4 цистерны, собственно, по которым в двух секторах, по которым, были нанесены удары, они в настоящее время практически уже догорели.
The Russian-controlled city of Donetsk was also hit by Ukrainian MLRS. Reportedly, the American HIMARS system, at least 5 residential buildings were damaged in the attack and several people were left injured. Donetsk has been the center of control by Russian proxies in Crimea for over 9 years now. In the past few days, however, Ukraine has been successful in penetrating Russian defenses. The mayor of Donetsk, a vocal supporter of Russia, has condemned Kiev's forces for allegedly killing 7 people, including a child, on Friday, when multiple Grad rockets slammed into the city's residential areas.
Со стороны вооруженных формирований Украины был произведен обстрел, предположительно с применением РСЗО «Хаймерс», о чем свидетельствует соответствующая характеристика воронки, обнаружена на месте обстрела, а также обнаружены на месте обстрела осколки. В результате данного обстрела существенно повреждена гражданская инфраструктура, это жилые дома. Около 5 жилых домов получили значительные разрушения, также имеются раненые среди мирного населения.
All right. For more on this, we are being joined live by former advisor to Defense Minister of Ukraine, retired Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Grant from Riga, Latvia. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Mr. Grant, how do you feel the counter-offensive from Ukraine will change the dynamics of the war?
Well, it's going to do something because it's been pretty much stalemate for the last 5 months, 6 months since the attack in Kherson when Russia pulled back. Basically, the lines have stayed pretty much the same, except as you pointed out around Bakhmut, where the extremely large amount of Russian forces have managed to push forward about halfway across the town. So any counterattack that comes is going to be a shock against the Russians somewhere. What is unclear at the moment is where that is going to be and even when it's going to be, despite what all the pundits keep saying.
Mr. Grant, if you were to just look at the two sides individually, on one hand, the Wagner Group is facing heavy losses and are pleading Russia for more ammo. Then on the other hand, Ukraine is also urging its allies to bolster its air defense systems. With both sides facing an arms lapse, what will this next offensive look like?
Well, it's not going to be an arms lapse on the Ukrainian side because they've been actually training in Poland, UK, Germany, quite heavily to create new brigades using the new equipment that they're going to get from different countries, from Germany, Sweden, US, you name it. There's a lot of equipment there that has not yet seen any light of day in the front line. So it's actually being used to create these new brigades. And when they come, they will be hopefully better equipped overall than any of the Russian forces that they meet.
Right, so no arms lapse expected from the Ukrainian side. So Russia was aiming to put its flag on the ruins of Bakhmut on the 9th of May. Is the Ukrainian counteroffensive aimed at stalling Russia's takeover plans, or does Ukraine actually believe they'll push back Russia?
I think you've got to look at Bakhmut as a completely separate activity from everywhere else. I mean, Bakhmut is just one town 100 kilometers north of Donetsk. And what happens in Bakhmut only has an effect in so much as that whether Russia wants to keep pushing at Bakhmut, because if it wants to keep pushing at Bakhmut, it has got to bring reserves and use other troops that they can't then put somewhere else. So actually a war in Bakhmut is to the advantage of Ukraine because it keeps Russia pinned down. Yes, it keeps Ukrainian troops pinned down as well, but these troops were not troops that were being expected to be on the counterattack. Those will be fresh troops.
Thank you for all your inputs, sir. That was former advisor to Defense Minister of Ukraine, retired Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Grant, joining us from Riga, Latvia.